Welcome back to this live broadcast. The people of Assam have made their choice. Now it is up to the BJP to choose between Sarbananda Sonowal and Himanta Biswa Sarma. That should not be a difficult task for the BJP, which perhaps makes fewer mistakes than its principal opposition, the Congress, as far as serious political issues are concerned, particularly those related to elections. That is the general perception. Well, on a day when the election results were announced, the trend continued right from the morning, with the BJP consolidating on its lead and maintaining its lead all throughout the day. And that on the bottom of your screen, viewers, BJP plus at 76, Congress and its allies at 49, others 1. The big takeaway, of course, is the easy victory of all the top BJP leaders, starting from Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, who won his Jalukbari seat with a record margin of more than 1 lakh votes. Then, of course, Sarbananda Sonowal winning the Majuli seat, and its alliance partner, AGP President Atul Bora, winning the Bukakhat seat, and all other important ministers winning, whether it is the BJP President Ranjit Das winning by more than 60,000 votes, whether it is high-profile ministers, Piyush Hazarika winning by 30,000 votes, and several other top BJP leaders winning. So it has been a BJP sweep as far as Upper Assam is concerned. And of course, the BJP did not perform that well in the Barak Valley, that is because of which the alliance tally is not as expected. Of course, last time in 2016, BJP and allies had secured 86 seats, and this time it is stuck at 76, and that is primarily because last time the Bodoland People's Front was an ally. They have won 12 of the 12 seats in the Bodo heartland. Now, of course, it's a new ally. UPPL has performed fantastic, winning 7 of the 8 seats it's contested. That is where a few seats have gone down. And of course, the AGP stuck at just 9 seats. It contested of course, last time the AGP got 14 seats, and now it got it stuck. Okay, we'll look at what Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma said. There is a bite. He was asked a question on the chief ministerial candidate. Let's listen in to that bite. Okay, let's listen in to Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. The hot topic as to who will be the chief minister of Assam, whether it is going to be the incumbent chief minister Sonowal, or whether it is going to be Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, who was the face of this election. That is the big question now. BJP has won the polls, fine. It has created history by being the only non-Congress political party to return to power. That's fine. But let's listen in to Himanta Biswa Sarma now. Put the audio.
सरकार बीजेपी का होगा वो निश्चित है, और मुख्यमंत्री भी बीजेपी का ही होगा वो भी निश्चित है। आगे जाके कौन होगा, कैसे होगा, ये हमारा कार्य क्षेत्र में ये नहीं आता है। ये हमारा संसदीय बोर्ड को ही निर्णय लेना है। तो आप लोग दिल्ली में हैं, मुझसे पहले आप लोग को मालूम चल जाएगा।
तो क्या कुछ गुंजाइश है कि सोनोवाल जी चीफ मिनिस्टर
देखिए, व्यक्ति का बारे में अभी हम लोग को सोनोवाल जी और मैं दोनों एक ही मंत्रिसभा में हूँ, और हम लोग दोनों एक मर्यादा को पालन करता हूँ हर काम में, हर स्टेप में। तो वो सब अटकल का बारे में बात करना मेरे लिए समीचीन नहीं होगा।
Well, that was a very well calibrated statement by Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. He was asked a direct question as to who would become the chief minister of Assam. He said that the BJP has won, the BJP is going to form the government. The chief minister is also going to be from the BJP. But who would become the chief minister? The first confirmation coming that Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma said that it is the parliamentary board that is going to decide on this issue. They said that both he and Sarbananda Sonowal are members of the same cabinet. They follow certain decorum and norms as far as administration and in all steps, all issues are concerned. Therefore, they would not like to comment on that. It is up to the parliamentary board. Northeast Live had broken this story earlier today that BJP is sending observers to the state. Tomorrow, these observers are likely to come to the state at the initiative of the party president and other top leaders, and these observers are going to speak to the newly elected BJP MLAs. Then they are going to go back to New Delhi, where they would decide, they would brief the parliamentary board, and of course the announcement as to who would be the chief minister is going to be announced by the BJP parliamentary board. That is the position as of now. I have got a very eminent panel tonight as to decode the verdict and to discuss on the leadership issue. I am once again joined by senior political leader, former MP, Mr. Kirip Chaliha. I have Assam BJP Vice President, Mr. Swapnanil Barua. I have Dr. Rajdeep Roy, a very, very dynamic BJP MP from Silchar, who was a mover and shaker of the BJP's election campaign in the Barak Valley. I have joined by three very, very eminent political analysts, all of them professors. Professor Prosenjit Biswas of Nehru University joining me live from Shillong. Professor Rajiv Hendik of Guwahati University joining me live from Guwahati University. And Professor Jaideep Biswas from Kachar College joining me live from Silchar. I've got a very esteemed panelists tonight. Let me go to you, Dr. Rajdeep Roy, if you can hear me. Dr. Rajdeep Roy, are you happy with the performance of the BJP and its allies? You stand at 76 today. Congress Plus is at 49. Of course, in 2016, the BJP and its allies had a total of 86 seats. You are down by 10 seats. How do you react? What is your first reaction to the verdict? Let's give the audio, please. Okay, we have lost that line. We have lost that line to Dr. Rajdeep Roy. We have lost that line to Dr. Rajdeep Roy. But you know, Prosenjit Biswas, there is a very interesting headline in one of the national dailies just a little while ago. That it says that, you know, the people of Assam had made their choice. Now it is up to the BJP to choose between Sarbananda Sonowal and Himanta Biswa Sarma.
Yes. So, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. I think our audio people should fix the audios. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah. So, to my mind, it's between the Scala and the Charybdis. It is not between the devil and the deep sea, but a choice has to be made. If the choice is continuation of the status quo, whether that kind of a choice does justice to the present election result of today, or the present election result of today, which shows a different kind of community mobilization, which also shows a certain kind of less than expected achievement on the part of the ruling party, requires a certain kind of a review and introspection into the very character of leadership, into the very quality of leadership. I think BJP as an organized party, as the ruling party in the country, must undertake a very serious introspection and a serious review of this result. They should not be flying with the apparent success. Behind the apparent success, there are many X factors that have come this time. So they must have a leader who can really make an inclusive kind of a combination within the party, as well as can develop a kind of a track too with the other opposition alliance.
Right.
So therefore, it is a little bit of a challenge at this moment. It's not a typical politicking time for BJP. They have to really work out a very interesting solution to this problem of leadership.
Right. Mr. Kirip Chaliha, how do you view this? Is it a dilemma before the BJP? Is it something that they will find it difficult to clinch? I'm talking about the leadership issue. How do you think things are going to unfold in the next 48 hours? What is your perception as someone who is observing the situation from outside?
See, one thing is certain that the verdict has been quite clear. It is a clear-cut verdict for BJP to rule. The question of the future chief ministership, I'm not talking about leadership, I'm talking about the future chief ministership. The question of future chief ministership, I think, has been in discussion for quite a few years now. Last time it was a different question because Himanta Biswa Sarma was a newcomer, and Sarbananda Sonowal, of course, he had his own claim to the he was also the boss of the party, and he had played the role of the ship anchor. But over the years, after I'll say he has delivered well. There has been a popular perception, and it has not been raised by any of us. It has been spontaneous discussion, cause of discussion, that the two personalities in the same place, almost same place, at a forced kind of what you call hierarchy may not be very good for the administration as well as for the party leadership. Now, the BJP has resolved it. I'll say they have resolved it as a temporary arrangement to see that the present equation it goes on, and what many of the central leaders in the election said, a double engine system. Now, a double engine is not a normal practice. Usually, we have one engine, and I think sooner or later, as my friend Dr. Biswas has pointed out, there are other compulsions. Now, you have in 2.5 years' time, it is a COVID situation, first of all, unnatural situation. You have somehow, in spite of all the shortcomings, you have a stronger opposition coming up in numbers.
Right.
And there are going to be newer challenges. And you have, above all, the 2024 parliament election, which is very crucial for
you have to factor
Mr.
in
Modi. More importantly, with now Mamata Banerjee asserting herself. I'm sure she's now just walk away from getting into the national scene. So now Assam, BJP, I think BJP will be in their interest to formulate a strategy as to how to make both the engines work rightly. And I'm sure they're going to take a
call and they're going to resolve the issue. Mr. Jaideep Biswas, how do you look at the situation? Yes, as I have said, as Mr. Kirip Chalia has said, the people of Assam have made a choice. It is the BJP which is going to come back to power and is set to form the new government. But what about the leadership issue? Is it as so difficult a problem for the BJP? How they should approach? What is your prediction? How are things going to unfold or pan out in the next 48 hours?
Well, this is definitely the biggest issue for the BJP leadership now. Now, in sports, there is a common kind of an adage that the team doesn't change the winning combination. So if the winning combination and winning position continue to fetch wins for the particular team, then they normally do not disturb. So going by that adage in the political game, Sarbananda Sonowal should definitely continue, because we haven't found any individualized anti-incumbency against him. But having said that, we also know that Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma undoubtedly has been the most visible BJP politician in the state. Definitely, he led the whole fight from the front. He just crisscrossed the length and breadth of the state. And most importantly, as there are information in the grapevine, that it was to his choice that most of the BJP nominations were made. Now, the ball definitely is in the court of the BJP leadership. Going by the constitutional position, normally what should happen? So the parliamentary board should decide. The BJP MLAs in their meeting should decide who should be the chief minister. As Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma has already said to you, and the clipping of which you have heard on the program. But we also know that this actually doesn't happen. These things are actually predetermined and determined at the highest level. And we also know, this is again a kind of an information which is more like a rumor maybe, that among the top two in the BJP, perhaps there is not a concurrence regarding the chief ministership as of now. So they
Right.
have to hammer out a solution.
Okay.
They have to hammer out a solution. We don't know what happens tomorrow. But if you go by the public mood, I'm not saying opinion. If you go by the public mood, if you go by the mood within the BJP, everywhere, not only in Barak Valley, but also in the Upper Assam, in the Central Assam, in the Lower Assam, Himanta Biswa Sarma undoubtedly is
Absolutely.
a natural
Absolutely.
leader.
Okay. I will also want my producers to connect me to Dr. Rajdeep Roy, BJP MP from Silchar. But before that, Dr. Rajiv Hendik, how do you look at this leadership issue? Because, during the entire election campaign, we have seen. Okay, where is Dr. Rajdeep Roy? Okay, Dr. Rajdeep Roy, yes. Thank you for joining the program, Dr. Rajdeep Roy. I was asking you this question a short while ago before we lost the line. In 2016, the BJP and allies had won 86 seats. Today, you are settled for you have to settle for 76. That's down 10 seats down. But anyway, that is not the issue. The issue is people have voted the BJP to power. It's quite a clear-cut verdict for the BJP and its allies to rule the next government. How do you think the things are going to pan out in the next few days?
First of all, Mr. Wasbir, to the panel, I would like to thank the people of Assam participating so peacefully in this celebration of democracy just a month back today. And now
Okay, we have got a very poor audio. I've got a very poor audio to Dr. Rajdeep Roy. Dr. Rajdeep Roy, hold on, I'm really apologize. I don't know, we were supposed to have connected you by backpack. I have no idea as to what's going on, and I'm really sorry and apologize. But Dr. Rajiv Hendik, Dr. Rajiv Hendik, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Dr. Rajiv Hendik, how do you look at this leadership issue? Is it the most important thing for the BJP? Somebody please inform Rajdeep Roy that he is not audible. Yes, Rajiv Hendik. Yes, please go ahead.
Before telling you about that, I must say one thing. Because of the COVID situation, you have been, doing this show through Skype, and your technical team has been trying its best. Hats off to you under these very trying situations. And you are apologizing within the program, several times for the glitches, but I think more or less it has been very, very smooth. And thanks for having me in your program. The point is, it's true, there is undoubtedly, there is no doubt about the caliber, the quality, and the strength of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. His experience working over, more than 2 decades now in public life, shouldering responsibilities in the most trying of times. And he has emerged as a leader acceptable to a wider audience. But, the final call is for the BJP party to make. Today, the people have given the verdict. The verdict is in the favor of the BJP-led alliance. Now it is for the MLAs, the parliamentary board, and for them to decide who is going to be the next chief minister. But Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, in his whatever he said about the leadership issue, he has been very tactful, and he has put it very succinctly about the very good relations, the bonhomie between him and the present chief minister, the incumbent chief minister, Sarbananda Sonowal, and they are a good working team. But that besides the point, there is a public perception that, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, the time is now for him to lead the state. So that is the position right now. We don't know what the parliament, but there is a big dilemma. 2024 parliamentary election is there. That has also to be taken care of. and also how to accommodate. Supposing if there is a change of leadership, what will happen to the incumbent chief minister? So these are very, issues. But I think BJP is a party, very disciplined party, who will be able to handle all of this in a very tactful way. And also there is
Right.
also the important factor. People say that there is a third eye. There is a third eye in the BJP, and that is the RSS. So I think
Okay.
the RSS.
Okay, let's
the
let's
parties will also
absolutely,
have a role to
absolutely,
play.
absolutely. Hold your thoughts. Let me go to Swapnanil Barua. Swapnanil Barua, as a party insider, how tricky is this issue? How tricky? Because earlier in the program, Mr. Swapnanil Barua, you said that there are a lot of things going in favor of Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. One, his handling of the COVID situation. One, his ability to administer. These are some of the things that goes in his favor. But how tricky or difficult or easy is this issue going to be for your party leaders?
I don't think it's going to be a very tricky issue in deciding the leader, because I think it will go through a due process of a practice. You'll have the legislature party, the newly elected legislators coming in, and they will be consulted on. Their views will be collated, taken to Delhi. The parliamentary party will decide on this, and also other considerations. It's not only the consensus of what the newly elected MLAs would be wanting or not wanting, but again, how does the overall situation, or what are the factors that would also have to be considered before arriving at a final decision. So that way, I don't think for the experienced leaders from Delhi, it will not be a very difficult situation to solve.
Right. All right. Dr. Rajdeep Roy, can you hear me?
If I speak on the handset, is it okay?
Yes, it's okay.
Okay. I can hear you now.
Yes, please say that. My question remains the same. How is the party, do you think, going to resolve the issue of leadership?
Issue of leadership.
Yes.
Now, I stick to my old answer, and I have been telling this to both the media, electronic and print media, for the last few months and all. That it is very specific. Bharatiya Janata Party has got a specific laid down protocol. Number one, Bharatiya Janata Party will get back to the Central Parliamentary Board. The Parliamentary Board probably meets in a day or two to take a decision on who shall be the choice of leader, number one. Number two is the 75, 76 odd MLAs of Bharatiya Janata Party will be called to Guwahati in a day or two, maybe day after tomorrow. The legislative party meets and they sit together to put their head together and resolve the issue of leadership. As we now know, that there are basically two front runners for the hot seat. The incumbent Chief Minister, Mr. Sarbananda Sonowal, and a minister with almost 9 portfolios, a Superman almost, Mr. Himanta Biswa Sarma. Two of them are in the reckoning. I presume it is a decision which will be taken in due course of time, and keeping everybody in confidence. Bharatiya Janata Party, as we know, always says ideologically, we put our country first, we put our party next, and ourself is last. So keeping in mind our ideologies and the protocol that we generally go about in choosing a chief minister in a winning situation like this, Bharatiya Janata Party will do the same thing, which will not be different from any other stage where we had won in the previous elections.
Absolutely. But now, this time Assam is going to have a very strong opposition. The Congress and its allies, the performance of the Mahajot, we cannot say that it is a bad performance. At the end of the day, BJP is a very strong party. It has been the ruling party in Assam. It has stuck to their alliance more or less. AGP has also been there as a regional party which is an ally of the BJP. But in view of all this, I think the Congress, which is not doing well at all across the country, but it has done considerably well in Assam. I think that is something you will have to admit, isn't it? Dr. Rajdeep Roy.
I agree with you. I would like to give credit to our worthy opponents who gave us a good fight, but nevertheless we won the battle.
Yeah.
And we are going ahead to form the government. I expected a strong fight anyway because of the alliance they made and all. Because I was giving you an answer previously. Previous election in 2016 was a triangular contest. Everybody contested on their own merit, on their own ideology, on their own vote bank politics that we usually are part of. But this time it is this unholy alliance of Congress and AIUDF. They got together. They just gave 5 guarantees, and today they are not even in the channels to answer your question. Not just your channel; they are not there in any of the channels to answer the question. I am not worried about what they are going to do or give to the people of Assam. They have been actually in a mode of shoot and scoot. They ask questions and they are not there to do debates on those issues and all. They are not there to give a logical answer to their plans, to their plan of security, to their plan of infrastructure development in Assam and any other. So I think that when Bharatiya Janata Party in the last 5 years, we have given a governance, the governance which was rooted to the ground, involving the people who matter on the ground. Their opinion was taken, and the last person standing on the ground, as we say, our Antodaya scheme and all, the BPL category of people, the poorest of the poor category, people who did not get any direct benefit over the ages last 70 years, they were given reckoning in various schemes of direct benefit transfer. So we have a government this time, though we have lost 10 seats, as you have asked, I agree with that. But despite that, I tell you that this is a pro-incumbent government on pro-incumbent vote that we have got. But of course, your inherent question, the leadership issue, will be handled very, very, very in an experienced manner, very deftly by the leaders who are sitting in Delhi and who have the experience of handling these sort of issues over the years.
Okay, that is what Dr. Rajdeep Roy is saying, that the issue of leadership will be handled deftly by the BJP leadership in Delhi. They are going to take due cognizance of the fact that there are 2 contenders for this post, or rather front runners, as Dr. Rajdeep Roy would like to phrase it. Front runners, there are 2 front runners. Nobody is denying that. Not even the BJP is denying this today. They are not on a denial mode. That is a good thing. And it is up to the BJP parliamentary board to take a decision. Of course, they have decided to send observers. I'll go for a very short break. Don't go away. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Let me go to Dr. Prasenjit Biswas. Dr. Prasenjit Biswas, Dr. Rajdeep Roy had said that this is a pro-incumbency wave. There was a pro-incumbency. This is a pro-incumbency vote. I think which you also said, made a similar kind of a comment earlier in the day. My question is, what are some of the factors that worked in favor of the BJP? Because BJP also, we must not forget that Assam, no non-Congress government has ever succeeded in returning to power for the second time. That is also something we cannot, just, set aside or brush aside. Prasenjit. Okay. The same question goes to Dr. Rajiv Hendik. Let me take this to Dr. Jaideep Biswas. Dr. Jaideep Biswas, Dr. Rajdeep Roy had said that it was a pro-incumbency vote. Now, what are some of the factors that had gone in favor of the BJP?
The first thing is that the opposition couldn't really manufacture issues that normally should have worked for the anti-incumbency. I mean, you don't have anti-incumbency
Incumbency being prepared for the opposition. The opposition has to work for it. Opposition has to go to the people with the failures of the government, and that actually, on that count, I would say the Congress and the UDF as well, both have failed miserably. Secondly, what you said, you are very right that it is the first time in the electoral history of Assam that a non-Congress government has returned to power on the trot. That has never happened. At the same time, a very interesting record still remains intact, and that is no non-Congress political party in the electoral history of Assam has ever been able to touch the magic figure of 64. Now that continues even this time around. The BJP has stuck to 60 again. Third quick takeaway from the results, I would say, Wasbir, is that the regional forces, of course, led by the AGP, and with the resurrection of a sort in the form of in the avatar of AJP and Raizor Dal, that have really failed. If you look at the tally of AGP, that has come down. Now, normally in kind of in case of a formation that wants to go to the power, then the 76 plus is a healthy number. But if you look at the regional political forces in the state, then I would say that the regionalism, sub-national regionalism, Assamese regionalism, is actually dying. Maybe it's natural death. This is really very important. And the final point I would make is that if you look at the numbers, Congress was 26, it has gone up to 30. UDF was 13, it has gone up to 15. BJP, as I said, has stuck to 60. So practically what has happened, you will find that it's a status quo opinion, not only pro-incumbency, I would say it's a status quo electorate who have preferred to remain with the arrangement that it was. Only thing that is missing, we all would have expected that, is that with the alliance of the Congress and the AUDF, the arithmetic should have worked in their favor, but that actually hasn't happened. And here, as Rajdeep also said on earlier occasions, and many in fact, is that that actually the chemistry has stood on the way, and this is because.
Right.
For the,
Now, Swapnanil Barua, in your own words, how, as a party insider, Swapnanil Barua, why do you think the BJP has come back to power? A lot of people would like to know, where have you gone right?
Well, a lot of things. Well, we have gone right in one, choice of candidates. If you have noticed that we have chosen very young candidates, and 60 plus, there are only 2 or 3 candidates, and I think Chandramohan Patwari will now be the oldest legislator in the BJP side. So these young voters have been attracted by the young candidates, which definitely has contributed to our success. Secondly, we have involved all communities and castes and tried to accommodate them as much as possible within the ticket distribution network. Thirdly, we have had a good track record of governance. One is about reduction of corruption in government service, the facilities that we have provided to students by way of free education virtually, the social work that we have done in the so far as widows are concerned, unmarried women are concerned.
All right. So these are
specially abled are concerned.
Right. I get a sense.
The schemes.
Right. Schemes.
And above all, but one thing I must tell you is that our preparations that we had a head start, and it was very organized planning. I must congratulate our President Ranjit Das and our organizing secretary Pani Sharma, that they pushed us about 6 months ahead.
Right.
Without waiting and building up the organization down to the Prishta Pramukh. All these have contributed towards making our thing. And finally, I think the push that was given by our leaders in carrying the message and the messenger were the right choice.
Right. Mr. Kripchalia, you know, all these things, you have won the elections, fine. You have created history by being the only non-Congress party to return back to power back-to-back in Assam, fine. But now, as we are coming back to the earlier this issue of discussion on the leadership issue. Now, the BJP High Command itself raised itself, created a scope to raise this issue of leadership by not, projecting anyone as the Chief Minister, unlike it did in 2016. That is the reason why we are even discussing this issue today. Otherwise, at the beginning of the election campaign, if the party high command, like in 2016, did, like they announced the name of Sarbananda Sonowal, this issue would not have been raised today. Now, perhaps at that point also the high command must have realized that fine, Sarbananda Sonowal may have done a fair job in during his time as the Chief Minister in the last 5 years, but perhaps they could not also ignore the fact that Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma has been an extremely hard-working person who not only pushed the party's prospects in Assam, but also been able to keep or hold on to the BJP's alliance, not just in Assam, but in the entire northeastern region. That is the reason why in 2016 itself the BJP realized this. They floated the Northeast Democratic Alliance and made Himanta Biswa Sarma its convener. And in that capacity, Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma has been able to stitch up alliances and manage the formation of NDA governments in different parts of the northeastern region. So, do you think that can be totally ignored this time? Or do you think they have to take all those things into consideration, apart from the fact that there is an election, national elections coming up in 2024?
See, I think now what you are saying makes it quite explicit that what we are discussing today as a problem, or what is being raised as a question by the common people. I just pointed out to you when we are sitting there that there are so many telephone calls coming to my place and so many WhatsApp messages. So who is going to be the CM now? Tell us who is going to be. Some of them came to you also, I think. So no, this is I think this is because at certain point of time, somehow or other, because of I will not like to be very direct on the question of personality, but somehow or other over the last 5 years, several times the BJP High Command itself looked to be in 6s and 7s. I mean, you had a Chief Minister, then you had ministers, but Dr. Sharma, Himanta Biswa Sarma, was somewhat not second among the. There can be a second among the first among the equals is possible. Second among the equals, he was not second among the equals. He was not equal in certain senses. He was not the first, but he had a number of, I think Dr. Roy pointed out or somebody else pointed out that it's so many portfollios.
9
and he handled
portfolios.
everything. Then he was given another extra burden, like burden or recognition, like the chief of the NEDA, where he used to interact with all the Northeast chief ministers. And moreover, somehow or other, this problem was perceived as a problem to be tackled, I think, even by the BJP leadership. It was not such a simple thing as now making a combination. So today after 5 years, in between, if I remember, there was a huge gossip or speculation in the press also that Mr. Sharma wanted to go to central politics instead of staying here for such a long time. He also said at weaker moments that, look, I've been a minister for such a long time doing the same work, so I'd prefer to go somewhere else, or maybe, this kind of talks are going on. As such, I think this not projecting Sarbananda Sonowal as there was no harm. He's a sitting chief minister. You project him, and then you decide at the time when to change. Let me this speculation.
I'll go to Dr. Asdeep Roy, but before that, very quickly, Rajiv Hendik, how do you see this whole thing, basically?
No, you see, I think let us regard them as a team. Both Sarbananda Sonowal and Himanta Biswa Sarma, they have been working as a team. But in spite of that, it is, Himanta Biswa Sarma who has been handling, the most important portfolios like finance, PWD, education and health. I think these are the very, very crucial to any, you can say, cabinet. And today we are talking of pro-incumbency. That means something must have gone right. Something must have been delivered to the people for which there is a verdict in favor of this dispensation. It is there that the work of, Himanta Biswa Sarma comes to. His, you can say, contribution to this pro-incumbency wave is immense. his ministries have, health, education. These are very, very crucial for for the public. And so I think that is where it comes in. And what Philip Chali has said, there has been a speculation going on all along. But I think, therefore, the BJP, the ball is in their court, the buck stops there. They will have to take a decision where they will be able to keep this social coalition intact. There is a social coalition at work where both the Chief Minister and Dr. Himanta Biswa Sarma, I mean Sarbananda Sonowal and Himanta Biswa Sarma, they have been very, very ably, they have been keeping it intact. And so to take it forward,
let me turn to let me go once again to Dr. Rajdeep Roy, the BJP MP from Silchar. Dr. Rajdeep Roy, Barak Valley 15 seats. Do you think that means what we have seen today and what we had seen in 2016? Do you think it is always going to be demography? Is it always going to be polarization that is going to give the verdict as far as the Barak Valley is concerned? We have seen in 2016, the Congress and the AIUDF fought separately and we have got a certain result. This time, the Congress and the AIUDF fought together and we have seen a certain result. So does it mean that as far as Barak Valley is concerned, considering its demographic composition, do you think we are always going to get this kind of a result?
I actually share your concern, Mr. Wasbir, because I initially thought people will come out of it and be more interested in a little bit of development, little bit of infrastructural issues, little bit of security issues. But the result actually shows up. It opens up a Pandora's box for me to analyze at a later stage. I have not yet got the voting percentage. I'm sure if I see the voting percentage, obviously the voting percentage of BJP, the share of vote for BJP will be much more than Congress individually, Congress and AIUDF, because they have fought like that. But I am actually worried about, the future implication of a democratic process. Because every time if you are into demographic pattern and vote always as per religious lines and our caste lines, then we are heading for some sort of an issue which we need to tell inside. I can give an example of a Bihar election last time, when people of Bihar actually came out of this demographic pattern, the religious inclination for voting for a candidate or the caste inclination for voting for a candidate. They came out of it and they voted for development and an incumbent government. I hope that the voters mature over a period of time. Our democracy is 70%. I'm not giving you a prototype political answer. As a student of politics, as a person who is interested in politics, I want to see my future democratic process being strengthened. I would like that the voters of this place, the voters of Assam to be precise, vote on the issues of merit. Which government has performed, which individual rather has been working at the ground level and working for the benefit of the poor and the downtrodden. If you can vote on agenda, vote on a manifesto, if you can vote on the merits of a candidate, then I think in the future we are hoping to see a better form of electoral pattern and a democratic pattern.
Right.
I am slightly worried. Exactly, your concern and is my concern, and I am slightly worried about it.
Now, another very interesting concern of mine, Dr. Rajiv Hendik, do you think that the regionalism has taken a big hit this time? Because we have seen a very poor performance by the Assam Jatiya Parikhad and the Raizor Dol. It's fine that Akhil Gogoi won the seat. That's a different issue. There are a lot of factors that went in favor of Akhil Gogoi. First of all, he is someone who is who had contested elections from jail and so on. But look at the AGP. It had won 14 seats in 2016 and today it has come down to 9. Its two most high-profile leaders or three most high-profile leaders, all the three ministers in the cabinet have won. Atul Bora has won, Kesab Mohanto has won, Phanibhushan Chaudhary has won, and Ramanda Narayan Kalita, another high-profile candidate who is from the urban constituency of Guwahati, has won. But its tally has also come down. So AGP performance has come down. AJP did not win a single seat, and Raijor Dal just about managed to open its account. So what does it mean as far as regionalism is concerned?
Regionalism in Assam, it came here, you can say, only after the AGP, after the Assam movement, the anti-foreigners movement. And after that, they did not perform well, and we all know the history, what has happened. And today, it is AGP, the win of the AGP is also largely factored in by the support it gets from the BJP and its cadres. In many of the cases, I'm not saying of Professor Mahanta by his own right, he is a very able leader, tall leader, wins in Koreabor hands down. Similar to say as the two other names that we have mentioned, Panibhushan Chaudhary in Bamaigaon and Atul Bora in Bokaka. But for the rest, it is actually the support of the organizational base of the BJP also, which is working in their favor.
Right.
But having said that, I must say that it also means that there is a scope for a new regional force to come and work in Assam. Because if you look at the other elections this time round, whether it is the LDF in Kerala or DMK in Tamil Nadu or the TMC in West Bengal, these are, if you see at the crux of it, essentially they work in a regional fashion. And even the BJP that we see today here, they have with the AGP mark on with them. They are
right.
with them.
Let me bring in absolutely
that always works.
Right. Let me bring in, I'm running short of time. Let me bring in Dr. Prasenjit Biswas on this issue of regionalism. Do you think this is the beginning of the end of regionalism in Assam?
Certainly not. Regionalism will get reinvigorated from this setback, because the issues of regionalism like underdevelopment and also rights of various communities is very much strong. Only thing, regionalist forces have to have a common minimum program and they have to come together. They are having conflict between each other in terms of their party organization and leadership, and that is hampering the cause of regionalism. Assam always is a germane pot of all kinds of regional sentiments. And I'm sure that regional sentiments will survive another day in the form of a political assertion.
Mr. Kirib Chalia, final comments?
See, regionalism in Assam has been more or less a chauvinist kind of combinations. So long Assam's regional parties remain chauvinist, I don't think you can have a true all-pervading regional political force. For example, Rajdeep will agree with me that the regional parties, the so-called Assamese regional parties, they hardly have any presence in Barak Valley. Whereas the Barak Valley also, there are people who feel the need for a regional kind of identity. But that over-encompassing view among even the Hindi-speaking people who migrated from other places and became Assamese, the Bengali Hindus, the Hindi-speaking people, then even the Nepalis, for example, other some ethnic groups. Then above all, you as a regional party, you can't be so centric that you have to think only about Upper Assam or about Middle Assam, about Lower Assam. What about the insecurity of the Bengali Hindus in Rajdeep Roy will agree. They can't even speak it aloud. Who are their danger? Who are creating problems there? They can't even speak it aloud. But you need to have somebody who has to say that these are problems facing the region, facing the people of the region, creating problems for nationalistic idealists.
Now, Swapnanil Barwa, final comments. What do you think? Your party, BJP, is also, a lot of people accuse you of trying to gobble up parties of which you are, first time you are Bill an alliance partner and then you gobble it up. That is also an allegation you face at times. Swapnanil Barwa.
Well, please don't blame us for that. We have no such intentions. We have reached out to all people, all sections to unite under the BJP banner, and people have agreed to it, and that is a really nice thing. But before I close, Wasbir, let me tell you one thing. One good development in this election has been in the 6 minority BJP candidates have been able to secure 10,000 votes at least on each of them, which is a very good sign, I think. so far as BJP's inroads into the minority community
Is that
concerned.
Swapnanil Barua? Is
I
it
think it is
because
the
you
beginning
are?
of a change.
Is it because you are associated with the minority cell of the BJP? Is it? Are you trying to say that it's because of your helming of affairs it has happened? Let me hear your comment. 20 seconds.
If you want
On
to
a
give
lighter note, of course, on a lighter note.
if you
On
want
a
to
lighter
give me the
note.
credit, if you want to give me the credit, I am very willing to accept it.
Yeah. Okay. Dr. Rasdeep Roy, final comments from you. On a day when your party has come back to power. On a day when your party has come back to power. Final comments.
Now, I thank the people of Assam for whatever verdict they have given. We, with all humility, we take this verdict on our head. We with all responsibility, will for the next 5 years, we'll form a government which will perform, and we will give word that whatever we have done in the previous 5 years, we'll try to do better than what we have done in the last 5 years. We'll try to do better than what we have done, and we expect that the people of Assam will cooperate with us, will give us their advice, will give us their inputs, so that we run and we make a formidable Assam and a formidable Northeast. The leader, whoever gets elected, becomes the chief minister, will let us understand that. Will not just lead Assam, he will lead the Northeast of the country.
Absolutely.
That is very important. That is very important. Telling everybody that.
That is very reassuring coming from a responsible political leader like you. Joydeep Biswas, 20 seconds to you. Final wrap up.
A political Assamese and a political Hindu at the same time. Now, the Assamese, quote unquote, in Assam had preferred to be the political Hindu. So, the day AGP went with the BJP, that was the last day for the regionalism. I mean, Assamese regionalism. In Bengal, the Bengali have refused to become the Hindus, and hence Mamata has got 215. So, I raised this issue of this program, and with that note, I would say that the biggest takeaway from this election results is that the sub-regional nationalism of the Assamese is really, really in danger.
Okay, that is a full topic for a separate debate. I am sure there will be people even on this panel who are going to contest your assertion or your articulation, but we'll leave it aside for a different day. I have completely run out of time. Yes, the BJP, of course, has returned to power in Assam. A new government will be formed, and we have to wait and watch as to who becomes the chief minister of the new government. I thank all my panelists for participating in the program and the viewers for watching the show. Good night and goodbye.